guys, welcome back to the biggest agricultural platform in Namibia known as Nduna Wengombe, which means headman of cattle. My name, of course, Mitchell Mutumba Simata, aka the headman of cattle. Today, on the 24th of August 2022, I'm doing a video about a farm in KwaZulu Natal that has gone organic, or that has just gone all organic and have been able to increase their broccoli and cauliflower pack out percentage to 98%. So let's get into the information. The information is contrast of my favorite agricultural magazine known as Farmers Weekly, the biggest, I believe, in the SADC block. So without wasting any time, let's get into it with my trusted notebook, which should actually be the last time you guys see it, as it has completely been filled with information. It'll be packed away, and I'll probably look for a new victim. But let's get into the information. There are notoriously tricky crops to grow in summer, but broccoli and cauliflower flourish on the Southern Block farm in KwaZulu Natal. By focusing on optimal soil and various plants, this farm uses minimal chemical input. The 40-hectare of cauliflower and broccoli crops stretches out over the picturesque hillside in Kerry's Post, KwaZulu Natal. You would be forgiven to think that this vista has been staged for it's not only the setting that's picture perfect, but the crops themselves. Uniform to the point of perfection, the plants all stand at an equal height, leaves thick and lush with hardly a blemish in sight. Yet Southern Block Farm carries out only a tenth of the pest control application that the neighboring farm does. All the nutrients are in balance and the plant sap is optimal. Pests find it difficult to bite into the thick leaves, explains Roy Milbanks, the farm's agronomist. Taking a natural approach is at the heart of the farm's success, and getting the soil in top shape is an ongoing process, albeit one that requires less and less human intervention as time goes on. When James Kelly took over ownership of the farm in 2019, he faced the task of converting the existing dairy pasture into vegetable lands. Since there was a good market demand for brassicas crops, he made this his focus. He called on Roy's experience, and the pair set about making corrections to the soil. To generate biodiversity in the soil, we use only organic nutrients. Correcting soil is a lot easier than you think. You just need to stop killing the microorganisms. We only add that which has a symbiotic relationship with the soil and doesn't have a negative impact on the microorganisms. Once you create this environment, the soil sorts itself out. I just need to make sure that I provide the microorganisms with enough food to flourish, explains Roy. He notes that few substances are more nutritious to microorganisms than the sugar given off by the plant's roots. So by planting a crop, we are also feeding the soil. This greatly reduces the nitrogen requirements that is good for the plants as well as the budget. Roy has walked a long road to become the biological farming convert he is today. I part of the lost generation who were indoctrinated to use harsh chemicals and nitrogens to get a crop off the ground. When I asked my university professor about a more biological approach, I was told there was no room for bunny huggers. So I walked the way many farmers are still walking today. And the results was depleted soil with nutrients imbalance that were difficult to fix and yields that decreased. I reached a point where I just couldn't keep going with the high input cost and the low yields, and was forced to look for an alternative way. Roy jests that he has paid the school fees for his son, farm manager Warren Malberg, as well as James, both of whom have only farmed biologically. and knows the success it brings. James admits that his generation has also benefited from the wealth of information they have access to. The availability of technologies like podcasts play a huge role in how we farm and solve problems. This has this has resulted in a greater shift towards biological farming worldwide because people who are seeking answers to problems can find solutions that work. For southern block farming, the proof of biological farming's effectiveness lies in the soil, where a combination of organic fertilizers and biological bacterias and beneficial bacterias work to produce robust crops that need less interventions year by year. Building the soil. An essential tool used by the team has been the organic fertilizer they source from Talborn Organics. We have very few we have very few aphids problems because we eliminate the use of nitrates, explains Roy. Nitrates dilute the sap of the plant and lower the Brix level, making the crop more susceptible to aphids. Our Brix levels are around 12, far higher than the average of 7, which is where plants become very vulnerable. The fertilizer mixture is custom made and contains nutrients at levels determined by soil analysis. Care is taken to apply only where it is deficient. Warren explains that his focus is on minerals that increase photosynthesis, magnesium, iron and magnesium, nitrogen and phosphate. The nitrogen, however, is in amino acid form, not nitrates, which is far healthier for the soil. I also asked for diatomaceous earth to be added to the mix, the silk of which is absorbed into the plant improves the cell structure and strengthens the crop. When the diatomaceous earth was first added, I noticed that the leaves of the broccoli and cauliflower became thicker and waxy. As the fertilizer pellets ensure a slow release of nutrients into the soil, no top-ups are required during the season. We do not top dress and only apply full application according to the results of the SAP analysis, done every 2 weeks. If there's an imbalance, too much or too little of something, it causes a deficient of something else. So we need to correct it. The biological activities in the soil enhance the efficiency of the fertilizer as it makes the nutrients more available to the plants. Since the slow release of fertilizer also ensures that the nutrients build up gradually in the soil, less and less fertilizer is needed each season. So the fertilizer pellets release nutrients slowly. They are cutting slowly but surely cutting the need of fertilizer in their soil. Our fertilizer costs around 3 times more last year and probably only double this year with higher fertilizer prices. But we get a far higher pack-out rate than the industry average. And we have such uniformity in our vegetables that the extra cost is worth it. Furthermore, since we are cutting back on inputs over time, as the soil improves, we are moving forward and the costs are reducing. The farm averages 98% pack-out rate, which means that for every 100 seedlings planted, 98 heads of broccoli or cauliflower are harvested in summer. This decreases to 80% due to the higher pest load. So they have a 98% success rate of their seeds growing to become full broccoli and cauliflower, which is harvest. And in summer, this decreases to 80%, which is still good. It's right around there. It's not really that bad. It's right there. On the southern block, farming has a phenomenal 14% organic matter. Weeds are removed only if they interfere with the crops. So that is the Milbanks family of KwaZulu-Natal who are doing organic farming with their cauliflower and broccoli plantation. in the KwaZulu-Natal area. That's my information on them. And they're showing how slowly moving away from the chemical fertilizers, which are now becoming extremely expensive, particularly if you're a farmer that's doing horticulture, how they have moved away from that and starting to focus more on the biological type of fertilizers such as organic. They are cutting down the cost. It's expensive, yes, it will be expensive at the beginning, but in the long run, they will still have healthier farms, healthier soil, which is not depleted, still has all its nutrients, and they'll still be able to farm their land. Not like the guys who are using the fertilizer stuff, who are killing everything and are making their soil less and less and less viable to plant anything. So that was my 2 cents, and the information was from Farmers Weekly from the Milbanks family, owners of Southern Block Farming in KwaZulu-Natal. With that said, guys, bye for now.